On behalf of Veterans in Politics International, I would like to thank you for coming this evening. Just to give you a brief overview of this process, we will be given 30 seconds to introduce ourselves. After that, I will give you a minute to introduce yourself, what office you're running for, and why you're seeking the endorsement. Not that you have anybody next to you to debate with, but and also just because there is one of you, I'm going to give you a leniency on time. I won't be rude and stop you mid-sentence, but eventually we have to wrap this up. So I'll start going like this or like this, and then At the end of the question and answer portion, you will be given 1 minute to give a closing statement where people can reach you and your campaign, so on and so forth. So to get started, my name is Talicia Sandoval. I'm currently a political science major at UNLV and pre-law. I am also the volunteer coordinator for Sherelle Mendenhall.
Hi, and thank you for coming. My name is Jim Jonas. I'm the director of Veterans of Politics, and I also co-host the podcast with Steve Sanson.
Hi, Joe. My name is Michael Broadway. I'm a real estate broker as well as a senior member, as they tag me. I guess I'm getting old. I've been with Veterans in Politics, often doing some of these for about 8 years.
All right, so I'm going to give you a good minute to introduce yourself and why you're seeking the endorsement.
So my name is Joe Dalia. I'm running for State Assembly District 29 in the Democratic primary. I grew up in Henderson, went to elementary, middle, and high school out there. And I brought my family back to that same area when I wanted to raise my kids. And, I found that a lot of the problems that existed when I left to go to college still existed when I came home. Like I remember in 2010, we were talking about economic diversification and education, right? And we're still talking about those things. Those things are still necessary to move our state forward. That's a big part of why I'm running. I'm an attorney, so I feel like I have the skills. I'm a father of 3, so I've got skin in the game. And that's why I'm running. And for why I'm seeking the endorsement. I'm a big supporter of our veterans. I come from a military family. My dad was in the Navy. My older brother served in Iraq and Afghanistan. So I have the utmost respect for what you guys have done in your service to our country. It'd be an honor to be recognized by you guys with an endorsement.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the toughest question you're going to get. Okay. Give me the boundaries of your district.
Oh, man.
And the reason why I say that is because I know it looks like a big jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, so it's changed a bit because before I think it looked kind of like a praying mantis type thing. It looks a little bit more normal now. We have McCullough Hills to the south, Whitney Ranch to the north. Pittman is kind of our northeast portion. And then on the, trying to remember our far west boundary line. I think it's roughly where I live, which is kind of by Fox Ridge Park. I wish I could give you streets, but I'm still
No, you're good.
I'm still getting there.
Alrighty, so could you give me your understanding of what an assemblyman does? Because I think a lot of people, I mean, we've done enough of these that I hope that they know by now, but a lot of people at home don't necessarily know what an assemblyman does.
Yeah, so I mean, I think, so the primary thing we do is for 4 months, we go to Carson City, and we have a legislative session where we try to move the state forward on a biannual basis. And, but you're elected for 2-year terms. So in my view, it's 4 months of going to Carson City, and it's 1 year and 8 months of serving your constituents and being a part of the community. So that's how I view the job. I hope others view it the same way.
Thank you.
Okay, so my next question is going to be regarding the state general fund. There's no transparency in the general fund. I mean, essentially, like all the money that is collected through tax either goes to the general fund or it goes to the rainy day fund. So if you're elected, would you do anything to try to create more transparency with the general fund so people actually know where the money is going?
Yeah, no, I think that's huge. I think we really need more transparency. We have very low political awareness generally in Nevada. I've knocked on enough doors to know people barely know who their state assembly person is right now, let alone what they're doing in Carson City. And that's scary. I mean, those are conditions that lead us to bad governance if we don't keep our eyes on it. So, yeah, I would definitely want to be a more transparent leader on that front. And I'd want people to know what we're spending money on, especially because we're a lean budget state, right? Like we don't have a state income tax. And because of that, we have to prioritize how we spend our money. We have to be careful about it. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the people deserve to know, like, this is how we're spending our money. These are the priorities we have with the lean budget that we have.
Thank you.
You say you're an attorney.
I am.
How long?
5 years.
And what firm are you with?
I was with Holland and Hart in Summerlin until recently.
What's your specialty?
Intellectual property law.
Okay. Do you litigate?
I do not know.
Okay. Thank you.
So I've asked this question multiple times, but the BDRs, or the bill draft requests, you're given 5 when you are elected. So
Right.
those top 5 off the top of your head, what are the most important issues to you right now?
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing I'd want to work on is education, because we have a serious educator crisis. My district is heavy in educators, and almost every door I stop at, I hear something to the effect of either I'm done now, I'm done in June, or I might be done in June. And that's horrifying, because that means we might not have schools open next fall. And the odds we're going to get a special session to fix that are pretty low. I think I'd want to address that first and foremost. We need to do things to make their lives easier. Some of that's salary, and some of that's, most of them don't talk about salary, though. When you ask them what are the things that are driving you out of the job, they talk about violence in the schools. They talk about all the administrative headaches they have to deal with every day. So there's things we can do to make their lives easier, and then increase their pay to make it just a job people can do again. That'd be the first priority. And then I know we've got 4 more bills after that, after we've solved education.
No worries. Go for it.
No, and then I got, I actually received a call this morning from a veteran voter in my district. I recently sent around a letter just introducing myself and inviting my constituents to reach out to me by phone or by email. He gave me a call, and he told me about an issue in Nevada law that I wasn't aware of, which is that, so his brother is a fully and permanently disabled vet who wants to just live out his final years here in Nevada. He grew up here. This is his home. But he is not exempt from property taxes right now. There's not a full exemption for someone in his shoes, 100% disabled, fully and permanently. And I was shocked that's a hole we have in the law right now. Obviously, if you serve our country, you deserve to, be able to choose where you want to spend the rest of your life. We shouldn't be driving you out of Nevada just through property taxes. So that's a bill I definitely want to get done. I talked to that constituent just this morning, and he asked, would I support that bill? And I'd support that bill day one. So in terms of other priorities, I know we need to do something about housing. That's going to be a huge one. I mean, cost of living is just huge right now, and I think housing is one of the bigger levers we can work on to try to get that improved. And then, then it's going to be, I'm going to need to talk to stakeholders and see what other priorities we can work on. Because my big goals are about economic development. Like, that's moving our state forward, recruiting tech here, dealing with the fact that we've got automation staring at us, and it's going to cost us a lot of jobs in the very near future. So anything we can do to get ahead of those things and help our business community move forward, those are also things I'd want to work on.
Great answer. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So my next question is pretty simple. Are you a Republican or a Democrat?
Democrat.
Okay. I asked that question because it seems like a lot of Republicans are running this year because they think it's going to be a red wave.
Yeah.
So based on that, why do you want to be an assemblyman? Because, I mean, the trend is that because of Biden's unpopularity, that this is going to be another red wave. So what is it in particular about the Democrat Party that you like better than the Republican Party? And remember, we're a nonpartisan group, so I just want your opinion on that.
Yeah, I think I'm a Democrat on social issues, but I've been, but really the things I'm focused on, they're moderate issues, right? Like, Nevada problems don't really take us down those partisan lanes. Like, when we talk about education, economic diversification, protecting small business, that's stuff we can all agree on, all work together on. and getting doctors here, because I think we're like 50th in medical access right now, and that's a terrifying thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm a Democrat just on social issues, but I mean, I think in terms of how I would govern, I think there's a lot of room for me to work with both sides. So.
Understood. Okay, so the NRS statutes, this is a question that I've asked many times before, and so has he. But my general understanding is, and I don't remember the exact numbers, in the first 3 months, they took their time and they passed a couple through. And then the last, I believe it was 53 days, they just bum rushed all of them to finish them and be done with it. So, and in these NRS statutes, there's pages and pages and pages of litigation. There's pages of all kinds of different things, right? And you can't physically read through all of that in the last however many days. So what would your plan to fix that or change that be, given that you're up there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, I can control my bills, right? So I can make sure that the text for my bills is available and circulated as early as possible to stakeholders. I can't speak to why some of the delays happen. I mean, some of them, it just doesn't seem like that should happen. I guess I'll see if I get up there how exactly it comes to pass that things are released with 53 days left in the session. But yeah, I would work really hard to make sure that everything I'm doing is in as early as possible, and I'm being as transparent as possible to everyone who might be affected by bills I'm working on.
Good.
You talk about 27% small business score and how you want to help improve that. Would you elaborate on your plan to deal with that, as well as maybe chat a little bit about how much they were impacted by COVID and how we can keep that from happening again?
Yeah. So, I mean, small businesses, they obviously took a beating. I mean, it's pretty easy to look at any strip mall here and you'll see we're just a little bit lighter than we used to be on those properties. I think the biggest thing that small businesses are asking for is predictability and for a little bit of nuance in how we legislate. Some things that we try to do, we need to exempt small businesses, right? Like we need to just look at the bill and see, does that make sense for, like maybe that makes sense for 100-person company, but does it make sense for a 25-person company? Does it make sense for a 5-person company? And I think a lot of the cases, it's just they want carve-outs. They want to be at the table. They want to be heard. Because in a lot of cases, things just happen. And maybe there are vehicles for them to get their word in through a chamber of commerce. But it's still very difficult. If you are an individual small business harmed by a piece of legislation, it's very difficult. If legislators aren't actively looking for your feedback, it's very easy for you to get run over. So I think that's a big thing I'd be trying to do is if I'm doing something that could affect small businesses, I want to reach out to them affirmatively and try to find out ahead of time, like, how would this impact you? How would it harm your business? And how can we change things to avoid the harm for you? Because I mean, they're barely skating by. And if we aren't careful about the burdens that we place on them, we will lose them. So, yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing that happens in Carson City, and it's Republicans and Democrats. They both do it. Okay. I'm not gonna try to blame one particular party for this, but it seems like in Carson City there's fraternities. So essentially, what happens is you just go along with whatever the party leadership tells you. Would you be willing to break away from your party leadership if you knew full well it was better for the state?
Absolutely, yeah. No, if I feel like something is going to harm my community, I couldn't vote for it. And that's team blue, team red. It doesn't matter. We're here to help Nevada. So that's what I need to be doing.
Have any more questions?
I think I'm pretty good. I appreciate the good answers.
Thank you.
Just like your candidates are
Yeah, that's one thing. Michael, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you're coming out. I know it's late. I know campaigning is tough. But, and you're coming into an environment where you don't know any of us. Like, you don't know what kind of questions you're going to get asked. So I appreciate it very much for you coming in. I really honestly don't have any more questions. Mine are more philosophical, like because I've just seen this over the years. Democrats vote with Democrats, Republicans vote with Republicans, whether it's good or bad for the state.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know if you'd be willing to break away from party leadership, because I know it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we have to, right? I think we kind of have to put partisanship at the door and just, solve these problems, because like most of our big problems, they're in the middle and we can work together on them. We're not that far apart. And I hope that's how I can lead if I get to Carson City. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to give your closing statement if you'd like to look into the camera over there.
Sure. Yeah.
And give your campaign information, where people can contact you, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. My campaign website is joedalia.com. If you want to find out more about me, you can go there. But I'm also accessible by cell phone, by email. I tell this to all my constituents, and I'll tell it to you. Please feel free to call me or text me anytime. 725-263-7376. That's my cell. And then joe@joedalia.com. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Thank you so much. Well, that concludes our endorsement interview for Nevada Assembly District 29.